71 teams to go on my road to predict all 131 teams this college football offseason. And we're moving on to the UCLA Bruins. And this is the team that I'm pretty excited about in 2022. They were a surprise team last year, pulled off a couple wins that they weren't supposed to, yet they also lost a couple games that they weren't supposed to last year either. But this is the team that has a lot coming in, a lot coming back. There is some leaving through the portal there as well, but this is the UCLA program that is starting to head in the right direction, that's starting to get up there in terms of where they stand in the Pac-12, starting to get back up towards college football glory. So can UCLA be an even bigger surprise in 2022? Or is this going to be a UCLA team that maybe is a little bit of a letdown this upcoming year? What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome to my channel. I'm predicting all 131 teams this college football offseason, and that means I'm doing your favorite team. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, so you know when that video gets uploaded. And the fans of the UCLA Bruins out there, you guys are going to know this team a lot better than I do. So if you feel like I missed something, you want to add something, anything of the sort, leave that in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to see what you guys have to say. So let's talk about UCLA in 2022. The Bruins are my 4th ranked team in the Pac-12 conference coming in to the 2022 college football season. They were 8-4 a season ago, 6-3 in conference. Massive improvements made under Chip Kelly for this Bruins team. Offensively, in terms of yards per game, this was the 2nd best offense in the Pac-12 and was very close to the best offense in the Pac-12. Overall, though, you could consider them last year, maybe besides the likes of Utah or someone, but you could consider them the best offense in the Pac-12 from a season ago. Had 441 yards per game with around 37 points per game. On the defensive end, that definitely does need some work. They were the 5th, or I guess the 10th ranked defense. No, not 10th, I'm sorry. 11, 10, 8th. My apologies. The 8th ranked defense in the Pac-12 when it came to yards per game, with 384 yards per game and around 27 points per game allowed. So this is, again, definitely was a UCLA team that took steps in the right direction, that made massive improvements from a season ago. As we take a look at some of the talent that is leaving this UCLA team, running back Britton Brown is gone. Was the 2nd leading rusher for this team a season ago. Had 616 yards and 7 touchdowns. So figures to probably be a one-man show for this team next year, and we'll talk about who might be running that show here in a little bit. You got a couple pretty solid pass catchers gone as well. In fact, the 3 guys I'm about to name were your 3 leading receivers from last year. Kyle Phillips, probably no loss on the wide receiver end, bigger than him. 739 yards and 10 touchdowns a season ago. Greg Dulcich, the tight end, now in the NFL, 725 yards and 5 touchdowns. And then Chase Cota, 286 yards and a touchdown. He is gone as well. Couple offensive linemen there. When you look at the defensive side, Otito Ogbania is gone. Had 2 sacks a season ago with 27 tackles. You also lose Odua Isabor as well. Mitchell Aguda. Again, I'm sorry if I mispronounce the names. I know I'm probably butchering half of these, but Mitchell Aguda had 55 tackles, 2 sacks a season ago, was tied for that 2nd leading tackler. You also have Caleb Johnson gone as well. He had 45 tackles and also had a pick a season ago. So you lose him. Obi Ebo, Quentin Lake, Quantrez Knight, and Jay Shaw. Some of those defensive backs that are leaving this team. So definitely, you got talent leaving this team. There's no question about that. Quantrez Knight, my apologies, was the leading sackman last year for this team. He had 65 tackles and 2.5 sacks a season ago as well. You're also losing, I believe, up there for the sack leader, I believe was tied for 2nd on the team. Jordan Genmark Heath at linebacker is gone as well. He, of course, is not on the board. So there is talent leaving this UCLA team, and you lose a lot offensively, you lose a lot defensively. There's talent leaving this team, yes. But there's a very important position coming back, and that's the quarterback position. That's Dorian Thompson Robinson. Had 2,409 yards, 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and 609 yards and 9 rushing touchdowns. That was on the ground a season ago. So Dorian Thompson Robinson, one of the better dual threat quarterbacks in the entire nation, or at least in the Pac-12, probably could be the best dual threat quarterback in the Pac-12. You could make the argument for either of them. That's huge to have that quarterback position back. 2,400 yards is not going to be eye-popping. It's not going to catch people off, but 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, DTR does his job. Now, with Britton Brown gone, Zach Charbonnet, the 1,000-yard rusher and former Michigan transfer, will probably be that lead back and will probably get a lot of carries this year for UCLA. Had 202 of them last year for 1,137 yards and 13 touchdowns. This is the team that had 518 overall rush attempts last year and only 335 pass attempts a season ago as well. They averaged 215 yards per game on the ground a season ago. That's what this UCLA offense likes to run. Charbonnet is going to need to be a big part in that. Wide receivers, you have Jake Bobo, who is transferring over from, I believe, Duke. You also have a freshman coming in Jaden Marshall. That's supposed to be really exciting there as well. Otherwise, you have Casimir Allen and Cam Brown, a couple wide receivers that are coming back for this team. When you look on the defensive end, lots of defensive talent. The Murphy brothers coming in, Grayson Murphy, Gabriel Murphy over from North Texas. You bring those two guys in. Tawaya, Jacob Sykes, Darius at the linebacker position, Kane Medrano, L.A. Cajo, Azizi Hearn, Stephen Blaylock, Jalen Davies, among some other names that you could throw up on this board as well. And again, I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of those, but Stephen Blaylock is that leading tackler coming back, had 53 tackles a season ago. And again, some other names that you could throw up on this board as well. So there's still a lot of talent here for UCLA, absolutely. Lots of guys that I think can have some pretty solid seasons for this team and for these colors. So let's look at the UCLA schedule, and there's really no big Fresno State game in non-conference play like there was last year, right? So UCLA, of course, lost to Fresno State a season ago, kind of that big upset for the Fresno State program last year. What kind of helped put them on the college football map a season ago. UCLA doesn't really have one of those. They have Bowling Green, Alabama State, and South Alabama. No team there really that I think poses a huge threat to UCLA. Now, when you get into conference play, you got to go on the road first against Colorado, and you got other road games against Oregon, Arizona State, and California to cap off the season. And then when you look at home games, Washington, Utah, Stanford, Arizona, and USC are some home games there as well. So let's go ahead and dive right on in, do a little breakdown of this UCLA schedule. None of the non-conference games interest me, although Bowling Green is the #1 team in returning production, according to Bill Connolly. Bet you didn't see that coming. Again, those rankings were back in February before a lot of the transfers and things like that. So Bowling Green, as of February, the #1 team in returning production. Again, bet you didn't know that coming into this year. So, but again, none of those three teams I see posing as a big threat. When you look at the conference slate, though, this is a tricky conference slate. You got to play Utah at home. You got to play USC at home. Two opportunities right there for UCLA to pull an upset. They could easily do it right there. But then you got to go on the road to play Oregon. Now, what's nice is you get a bye in between the Utah and the Oregon game. So a very, very nice place to have your bye week. Otherwise, there are some other interesting home games. Washington, Kalen DeBoer coming in, of course, was the head coach that beat UCLA last year, now at a new program in Washington. Going to look to set the foundation there. UCLA looking to get a little revenge on Kalen DeBoer, now coaching for a different university. Also, Stanford, they have an NFL talent at the quarterback position, and while this defensive back group is going to be one of the more experienced one projected-wise in the Pac-12, Tanner McKee can definitely have a big game against this UCLA team, and UCLA had some problems here and there in the secondary season ago. But then there are also some pretty tricky road games. I mean, on the road at Cal, that's not a guaranteed win. You got to watch out for that. We've talked about the road game against Oregon. Of course, that's a game everyone is going to circle. But on the road against Arizona State, as much of a dumpster fire as they may be, you still got to watch out for Arizona State. That can still be a team that if they get things going, especially late in the season now that we're into November with that game, could be able to pull off an upset of some sort. I don't do game-by-game predictions. I do a more percentage-based. Alec, tell me predict a team's record. So if the game is in red, just don't see you winning the game. If the game's in orange, I still necessarily don't see you winning the game, but it is college football and upsets can happen. Yellow are those 50-50 or high upset potential games. Games in yellow-green are games that you should win, but you got to watch out for teams on the other side of the ball. And games in green are games that I have you winning. So, again, the games in green I have Arizona should be able to win there. Colorado, I'm even going to say you should be able to win there, although that game is on the road. So that's why it's in yellow-green. And then all those 3 non-conference games, again, they don't interest me. UCLA should be able to start out 4-0 this upcoming season going into that game against Washington and Kalen DeBoer, who have an outside shot of being undefeated when that game comes in. So it could end up being a very important game early in the Pac-12 slate. But again, Washington more than likely going to have a loss coming into that game. Still going to be an important game nonetheless. How does UCLA adjust to the Kalen DeBoer system? But more importantly, how does Washington play under the Kalen DeBoer system? And are they capable of coming in to the Rose Bowl and pulling off this upset? Same thing with Utah, although Utah's a little bit of a different case. I like this Utah team, and you're going to find out in my predictions what I think about this Utah team now that we're doing the Pac-12 Conference. But it's a Utah team that I think can make a run towards the College Football Playoff, can absolutely make a run towards another Pac-12 title, but UCLA gets them at home. And Utah, there's a lot of places for Utah to slip up on their schedule. This could be it. This could be the game where Utah drops. And that's why it's a game in yellow. Some other games in yellow here on the road against Arizona State. I know I've already done my video. I know I've said how much of a dumpster fire they are and how much they have to get figured out. But again, like I talked about, with as much talent that is leaving that Arizona State program through the transfer portal and coaches and things like that, coming in are still some pretty nice, solid players. So if Arizona State, they're probably not going to have much to play for at this point in the season, although maybe they do. And this could be a sneaky game down the road that maybe we aren't looking at now as a big game, but maybe we could be looking at down the road, especially if Arizona State can surprise some people, then say, okay, this could be a pretty significant game. When you look at other games in yellow there as well, or I guess games in yellow-green, I think you should be able to beat Stanford at home. I think you should be able to beat Cal on the road, although watch out for Tanner McKee and Jack Plummer, the 2 quarterbacks at those respective schools. When you look across other games in yellow, though, I mean, Oregon, USC, those are 2 other tough games. USC going to be a really good team offensively, but UCLA, USC were the 2 best offenses in the Pac-12 from a season ago, so it wouldn't surprise me if that's a shootout, especially considering the amount of question marks that are on the USC defense. And then when you look at that Oregon game on the road as well, you could make the argument on why that is UCLA's toughest game of the season, right then and there. All in all, I do think UCLA is going to win one of the Utah, Oregon, or USC games. I think more likely than not, it's probably that USC game at the end of the season, because if UCLA can turn that into a shootout, if Thompson Robinson can get going with the pass game, if Zach Charbonnet is able to run the ball effectively, there's the word I was looking for, that can be an upset game. I got UCLA going 9-3 in 2022. I think what held them back from that 9-3 record a season ago was, again, that game against Fresno State. But look on the schedule. There's no Fresno State type game. I mean, I really don't see them losing any 3 of those in non-conference play. So I have UCLA doing what they probably should have done last year and going 9-3. That floor being 6-6, maybe things just don't work out. I do have that ceiling, though, at 11-1. I think this UCLA team has the chance to be really good. I think that pass game has to be more effective, and Charbonnet has to have a really big year. And that defense got to have a good year for that to happen. But UCLA, solid record at 9-3. Definitely trending in the right direction under Chip Kelly. And that's going to do it for the Bruins. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, everything like that. And remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. See all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.